First, let's look at the top stories making headlines. Minister Chombo says the GBV Commemoration Month. Botswana Railways declares no profit as forensic audit gets underway. Arsenal and Visit Rwanda end partnership after 8 years. Welcome to Lesedi Television. It is a great pleasure to be with you tonight. The Minister of Youth and Gender Affairs, Honorable Lesedi Chombo, officially launched the 16 Days of Activism against violence on women and children with a strong call for national action, warning that violence, particularly on digital platforms, have become a growing crisis in Botswana. Speaking at the launch, Minister Chombo emphasized that the country is firmly in the digital era, making online safety an urgent priority. Meanwhile, Success Capital commemorated its 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence, calling for urgent national action on gender-based violence (GBV) and warning that both physical and tech-facilitated abuse are rising despite official reports suggesting a decline. Recent engagement with women in Gaborone and Francistown revealed deep economic vulnerability, exploitation, and weak protection systems, while nearly half of surveyed women reported online harassment, mostly on Facebook, with 91% of incidents perpetrated by men.
Borre mmogo go ba berekang mmogo ba tshotla dikgang tse bogosi jwa rona bo etella pele go ka netefatsa gore these stereotypes that perpetuate violence, these stereotypes from khudiso ya ngwana to positive masculinity or lack thereof, tsotlhe gore di buisanwe. Ke rata go lemoga gape le go leboga dikakgalo tse di tswang ko Security Association of Botswana, owning abua tata ka something that I hear very often, that majority of our perpetrators are former victims. A lot of young boys, even according to statistics, who have perpetrated violence have experienced violence in their childhood. Gora ba gogontshiwa e le bana. Mebile la re lebella tsone dipalo tse re gogontsho ya bana ba basimane, physical violence thata. Ha re lebella gogontshio ya bana ba basimane kgathanong le bana ba basetsana, re lemoga gore ya bana ba basimane go godimo ha ba le bannye, mme ebile ha ba gola ba nna le one tšhakgalo eo ya ka setsa buile. It's something that has been said by many men, gore re gola re na le tšhakgalo, re sa rutiwa gore re ka bua yang ka maikutlo a rona, re sa rutiwa gore re ka hema gogontsho yang. How can we regulate our emotions? How can we speak instead of using our fists? Dipatiso tsa bone tsa 2025 di supa gore bomme ba ka nna 50 le boroba bobedi mo lekgolong. 58% ya bomme ba kile ba gogontshiwa mo maranyaneng. Go supagala gape gore bomme ba le 85 mo lekgolong, that is 85%, ba bone kgogontsho e dirwa mo maranyaneng. E supa ha bana, teenagers ka bontsi ba begile ha ba gogontshiwa mo maranyaneng. E supa ha bana ba le 22 mo lekgolong ba supile ha ba gogontshiwa mo maranyaneng le hatshe ka bophara. Mme ebile ha re lebella dipalo tsa maAfrika, re lemoga gore ditshwantsho ke di statistics tsa 21st November 2025 recently, ditshwantsho tse seng tsa nnete tsa morobalo di heta 90 mo lekgolong. Mme ebile mo go tsone go irisiwa bomme. Di supa ha bomme ba le 22 mo lekgolong ba butsuluditsweng mo mahatsheng a le 5 mo Afrika, ba supile ha ba itemogetse kgogontsho mo maranyaneng. Bomme ba mapalamente ba le 42 mo lekgolong ba supile ha ba kile ba tshosediwa ka dipolao, ba tshosediwa ka go thubediwa, ba tshosediwa ka go betswa mo maranyaneng.
Ke bidiwa Joy Pumapi, ke modula stilo wa National Gender Commission, ko re ke lephata la la bong mo Botswana le leng gore tiro ya rona ke re gakolle gore bente ka ditsela tse leng gore re ka ditsa re le Batswana gore re tokahatse bong mo lehatsheng la rona gore ngwana mongwe le mongwe a ke mosimanyana a ke mosetsana le ena nne le tsholo mo dithabolong tsa rona gore le ena tla a khone gore a ikgone mo botsilong a tshele sentle a ne le lapa la gagwe ga ile gore o batla le lapa le bana ga batla bana le gore a ba godise sentle le bone batle gonna babelegi ba setšhaba.
Dumela Motswana ko lapeng ke nna Lorato pelo e wetse ke tswa Mogobane ko gae. This is day 1 of the 16 Days of Activism, and I am here today to represent the girl child ko lapeng le bana ba sekolo. I am a victim of gender-based violence, and I have a few testimonies under my belt. But these dark stories don't mark the end of my story. They're simply a chapter in my book. I've not allowed them to take power over me. And I'd like to encourage all the youth out there, daughters, anybody that goes through an experience like this, to come out and speak out. Oftentimes we fear stigma and the aftermath of when we share these stories. What's going to happen? Will I lose my job? Will I lose my schooling? But I want to encourage you to take power over your story and say your piece, because it's important. The change begins with us. In as much as we often have difficulties when we speak to Batsadi ba rona, I encourage you to speak out. You need safe environments, and they too will assist us to create these safe spaces where we can communicate with each other and interact. Because they often don't understand. And the more we can have this communication with them, they can get some insight and we can move forward. Not only will this help us move forward as a nation, but it would help us as victims take a step forward in our healing.
In a generous gesture to promote digital literacy and innovation, the Botswana Communication and Regulatory Authority, BOCRA, has donated a state-of-the-art ICT lab to Ditladi Primary School. The digital center, valued at over 1.4 million pula, is equipped with 30 desktop computers, 2 laptops for teachers, a multi-purpose printer, and a smart board, all connected to the internet. The Minister of Communications and Innovation, Mr. David Tsere, officiated at the event, emphasizing the importance of digital technologies in today's world. BOCRA Board Chairperson Dr. Bokamosoba Suti highlighted the authority's commitment to promoting the use of ICT in primary schools. Botswana Railways Acting General Manager Dominic Ntwagae has indicated that the state-owned rail operator does not anticipate making a profit in the near future. He noted that the company's operations will continue to center on freight services, stressing that passenger train services can only resume if government steps in with financial assistance. Board Chairperson Wincy Ramaphoyi said stabilizing the institution remains their main focus. She highlighted efforts to tighten expenditure, grow revenue streams, and pursue private sector partnerships as the key strategies to steer the companies towards recovery. Meanwhile, a forensic audit commissioned by President Duma Boko is now in progress to probe allegations of mismanagement and financial misconduct at Botswana Railways.
We have not had the profit, I would say, last year. We are not anticipating a profit this year. What we are anticipating is a betterment of the bottom line, from where it is towards profitability. That's basically what I think the media should understand. What figures are we looking at about? I think we are looking at about approximately about 90 million loss last year. We are trying to push that loss to maybe this year to something like maybe 25 or so. So that's basically what we are working on. But that is the improvement going towards the profitability zone of the organization. I submit. Thank you. This financially, we are not looking at resuscitating the person train. We are more focusing on freight revenue because that's what gives us more money. Commercially, it'd be better to go that route. However, from the economic point of view, it would be good to resuscitate the person train, but the returns on it alone will need to be subsidized by the government. because they don't give enough profit to sustain the organization. I think I submit with that. Thank you.
A police spokesperson accused Wine of leading an illegal procession and that security forces intervened to restore order. Wine, whose real name is Robert Kyagulanyi, is in challenging President Yoweri Museveni for the second time after he came second in the 2021 vote. Uganda will hold a general election in January, with voters picking a new president and more than 500 members of parliament.
The party of opposition presidential aspirant Bobi Wine says security forces have arrested hundreds of its supporters attending campaign rallies of its candidate. The arrests took place as Wine campaigned in Kampala and Mukono districts, two major opposition strongholds, the National Unity Platform party spokesperson said. A police spokesman accused Wine of leading an illegal procession and that security forces intervened to restore order. Wine, whose real name is Robert Kyagulanyi, is challenging President Yoweri Museveni for the second time. He came second in the 2021 vote. Uganda will hold a general election in January 2026, with voters picking a new president and more than 500 members of parliament. If he wins another term, 81-year-old Museveni would extend his full-decade rule by another 5 years. Bobi Wine has accused security forces of blocking and dispersing his rallies. There has been no word from the Election Commission.
The Popemobile was presented on Tuesday in Bethlehem, where the late Pope visited in 2014. It's unclear if the vehicle will receive authorization from Israel to travel from the occupied West Bank to Gaza, but it has been equipped to serve vulnerable children living in areas where healthcare has broken down. The refurbished vehicle carries diagnostic tools, treatment supplies, oxygen, vaccines, and refrigeration for critical medicines. The vehicle will be staffed by qualified healthcare and professionals.
The late Pope Francis' wish to donate his automobile to Gaza children has been fulfilled. On Tuesday, the Catholic charity Caritas revealed the former vehicle of late Pope Francis, which has been converted into a mobile health clinic to provide medical care for children in Gaza, as per his request.
We have seen more than 1 million children displaced, and so it was particularly important to us as Caritas, together with Caritas Jerusalem, when Pope Francis, as one of his last wishes, said that he wanted his Popemobile to be turned into a pediatric clinic for the children of Gaza. Caritas Jerusalem, along with many others, including the Red Cross and our other ecumenical partners, have been working long in healthcare, but we know the level of destruction that has happened to health facilities.
The vehicle will be staffed with healthcare professionals and equipped with diagnostic tools, treatment supplies, oxygen, vaccines, and refrigeration.
We are gathered here today. This vehicle stands as a testament. The world has not forgotten the children of Gaza. With the Caritas Jerusalem staff on the ground, this effort builds on decades of service in the most challenging environments. This is not just a vehicle, it's a message of compassion, dignity and hope for the children of Gaza and beyond.
It is uncertain whether Israel will approve the vehicle's movement from the West Bank to Gaza, but it is prepared to assist vulnerable children in areas with collapse or inaccessible health care.
Staff at Buddhist temple in Thailand has a big shock on Sunday when a woman brought in for cremation started moving in her coffin. Her brother said she has been bedridden for about 2 years, but when she appeared to stop breathing last week, he assumed she was dead. The brother transported her nearly 500 kilometers across the country to a hospital in Bangkok, to which she had previously expressed a wish to donate her organs. When the hospital refused the brother's offer as he did not have an official death certificate, he went to the Wat Ret Tham temple on the outskirts of the city, which offers free cremations.
Staff at a Buddhist temple in Thailand had a big shock on Sunday when a woman brought in for cremation started moving in her coffin. Her brother said she'd been bedridden for about 2 years, but when she appeared to stop breathing last week, he assumed she was dead. So he transported her nearly 500 kilometers across the country to a hospital in Bangkok, to which she'd previously expressed a wish to donate her organs. When the hospital refused the brother's offer, as he didn't have an official death certificate, he went to the temple on the outskirts of the city, which offers free cremations. It was as the manager was explaining how to get the necessary documentation that they heard the faint noise and asked for the casket to be opened. The woman was later taken to hospital, where she was diagnosed with critically low blood sugar, which likely led to her weakened condition. The abbot said the temple would cover her medical costs.
And in our sports news, English football team Arsenal says it will terminate its partnership with Visit Rwanda at the end of this season, when the brand will cease to appear on the Ghana's sleeves. The Premier League leaders and the East African Nations Tourism Board first joined forces in 2018 for a deal reportedly worth more than $13 million a year. It's been a controversial partnership for Arsenal, with the team coming under fire over Rwanda's human rights record. Visit Rwanda said the separation is part of a broader strategy to conquer new markets, in particular in the United States, where it has signed a deal with the LA Rams basketball franchise.
English football team Arsenal says it will terminate its partnership with Visit Rwanda at the end of this season, when the brand will cease to appear on the Gunners' sleeves. The Premier League leaders and the East African Nations Tourism Board first joined forces in 2018 for a deal reportedly worth more than $13 million a year. But it's been a controversial partnership for Arsenal, with the team coming under fire over Rwanda's human rights record and its reported support for M23 fighters in eastern DR Congo. Visit Rwanda said the separation is part of a broader strategy to conquer new markets, in particular in the United States, where it signed a deal with the LA Rams basketball franchise. Arsenal said in a statement that the partnership had exceeded its goals of promoting conservation and sustainable tourism, and that millions of its supporters had been inspired to visit Rwanda.
That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching Lesedi Television News. Good night.